Good morning, students. This morning I'll be elaborating more on my topic, which is consumer chemistry, substrand chemistry of medicines and drugs. Moving on, the learning outcome. Upon the completion of this lesson, students will be able to identify and describe some common medicines and drugs. Chemicals and drugs. Chemicals in drugs. For drugs, these are the chemicals that has an influences on our body, whether positive, negative, intentional, or side effect. A cause change in a person's physical and physiological state. Also, most are illegal, have no medical use. Whereas for medicines, these are the drugs that are taken with the intention of healing or improving health conditions. It's used to cure or prevent or treat illness and discomfort for people. Some examples of illegal drugs. I have some here. Some of the types that I have here is analgesic, antipyretics, antibiotics, and antacid. For the first one, analgesic, the purpose of it is that it's a medicine that takes away physical pain. In simple terms, a pain reliever. Example, paracetamol and acetaminophen or aspirin. Whereas for antipyretics, it's a substance that reduces fever. Example, aspirin and Brufen. Whereas for antibiotics, it's a medicines used to treat infections or disease caused by bacteria. An example of this is amoxicillin and penicillin. Antacid is the purpose of it is that it's a type of inorganic medication that can control acid levels in the stomach. Some example of this is a magnesium sulfate and bicarbonates. Moving on, chemicals in non-medicinal drugs. First one is a cigarette. It contains a huge number and range of inorganic compounds. When burned, they create more than 7,000 chemicals. It's an acetone, arsenic, lead, acetic acid, or methanol or tar, or nicotine and extract, etc. This will enter the body and affect the entire body, causing cancer, heart disease, and various lung disease. So you can see that cigarette is a very harmful product that will affect the human body. Whereas for alcoholic beverages, it's a drink that contains a substantial amount of alcohol, and health effects apply to alcohol as well. For example, beer, wine, and spirits. For the beer, it's produced by the saccharification of starch and fermentation of the resulting sugar, which contain 2 to 12% of alcohol. Whereas for wine, the wine, it's made from fermented grapes or other fruits, and it contains 9 to 16% of alcohol. For the third one, spirits, it's a distilled beverage, spirit or liquor or hard liquor produced by distillation of a mixture produced from alcoholic fermentation, and this contains 40 to 80% of alcohol. Whereas for kava, also known cover is also known as a cover lectons. It refers to the plant or the beverage prepared from the plant. When dried, rootstock consists of 43% starch, 20% fibers, and 12% waters, 3.2% sugars, 3.6% proteins, 3.2% minerals, and 15% cavalactons. Cavalactons are the active chemical ingredients of the cover root. It can vary between 3% and 20% of rootstock dry weight depending on the age of the plant and the cultivar. Whereas for inhalant, these are the non-medicinal inhalant volatile substances that produce harmful chemical vapors that can be inhaled. For example, aerosols, solvents, such as paint thinners, petrol, makers, and other cleaning fluids. And one common one is body spray. That's one of an example of inhalants. Yeah. I also have some common illegal drugs. Most illegal drugs are stimulants and depressant. For stimulants, these are drugs that induce the temporary improvement in either mental or physical. It may include alertness and physical activity. For depressant, it slows down brain activity. For example, short-term effects of depressant include poor concentration, fatigue, dizziness, and depression. Example of some illegal drugs: marijuana, cocaine, heroin, amphetamines. The description for marijuana is that it's known as a plant that contains mind-altering chemicals, and it acts as both a stimulant and depression, but remains in the body organs longer than alcohol. And for cocaine, it's a powerful addictive stimulant derived from cocoa or prepared synthetically and used as a stimulant. Whereas heroin, it's a drug that synthesized from morphine and extracted from the seed pod of the Asian opium poppy plant. It is a depressant. And last one is amphetamines. Yeah, amphetamines. These are the synthetic drugs that act as a stimulant. Conclusion: students are able to identify and describe some common medicines and drugs from the topic being discussed. Also, they are able to give examples of legal and illegal drugs. So, as you heard me earlier, that I've discussed mostly on the chemicals that are harmful to our bodies, and I hope that whatever I've discussed from my topic should be a best lesson for us, and to practice more. Or you can share with your friends the main cause or main problems that these chemicals can bring harm to our body. And I hope that you guys learned something worth it from my presentation. So now, before I end my presentation, I have some questions, some activities for you guys this wonderful afternoon. So my first question here, it says, give the purpose and examples of the following types of drugs, such as antibiotic, analgesic, antipyretic, and antacids. And second question that I have is, name some chemicals found in cigarettes. So you know what are the chemicals that are found in cigarettes. And third question, what is the main component of any alcohol beverage? Moving on to the fourth one, give the main components of dried rootstocks of cover. And last but not least, number 5, classify the following illegal drugs as a depressant, stimulant, or both. So classify the following illegal drugs. They are heroin, marijuana, cocaine, and amphetamines. So that's all.